Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today we have another Kubey on the channel to talk about. This one here is a very different Kubey with a nice little upgrade. This is none other than the Kubey KU2101A. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue, look at that, to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length of 7.2 inches, with a blade length coming in at 3.15 inches and a blade width of 710 thousandths. We have a blade thickness of 120 thousandths with a blade material of, you saw it, 14C28N. It's so nice not to see that D2 marking on a Kubey. Very, very happy to see that. We have a drop point style blade with a flat grind, a handle length coming in at 4.05 inches, and a blade thickness, or handle thickness, of 510 thousandths. Handle width on this guy is 785 thousandths with a handle material of black G10 and a liner lock locking mechanism with a user of a left or right hand tip up carry on that nice good old Kubey pocket clip that you see on most of their models. We have a weight coming in at 2.72 ounces and a price of $70. So with that steel upgrade, we will definitely call it an upgrade because I think most of us, if not all of us, would take 14C28N over D2. Comes a little bit of a price increase, and you also have a different. This is kind of not, I wouldn't say a unique front flipper, but they're trying to do a play on some more premium front flippers. And I'm sure you guys probably know what I'm talking about. We'll cover those as we go over the things. Actually, we're going to cover some right now because we're going to do some size comparisons and just take a look and see exactly what comes to mind with this knife. In terms of length, this is kind of in its own little size range, to be honest. Here we have the Artisan Cutlery Sirius, as well as the Booz Blade Smoke, but both considerably longer knives. As you can see, 3.5-inch blade compared to the 3.15-inch blade, so big differences there. But in terms of overall, slenderness, it's definitely more in tune with these two, just not quite the same in length. Now, when you're talking about just the flipper tab, it really is kind of a combination of these two knives right here. This is a Pena Apache, and this is a Wingman EDC Tom Mayo MTNT Mach 3, I think is what it's called. As you can see, though, both kind of top flippers with their own little design. First, we'll deploy these blades and put them out here by it, but these are both going to be shorter than this knife. So in terms of length, I don't have anything too close to it. This is kind of close, but as you can see, definitely both longer. But let's take a look and compare the actual front flippers, because that's what's most worth noting with these guys. So as you can see, it's right up there. It's similar to these. The biggest difference between these three knives, the front flipper works well on all of them. The difference is the detent. That's where you really feel the difference between these knives. This detent is not the same as these detents. These detents are slightly better, but again, $275 knife. This was, I think, like $300 or $280. These are both expensive knives. For $70, you're still getting a very nice detent and one that works pretty darn well in this Kubey KU2101A. Now let's get into the blade. Very sleek and slender drop point blade with an edge rating coming in at 19 thousandths. So it has its own little nice level of sliciness with a tip that is really borderlines dainty, but I wouldn't call it dainty. Kind of a nice little office carry blade. Now, just the blade. Now, when you bring in the handle, it's its own little unique offering, I guess, is the best way to put it. I don't think as a whole it's going to float everyone's boat, but I think there are definitely going to be some people that find this attractive. In terms of the 14C28N, hooray, no D2. I love that. I really hope Kubey continues that. 14C28N is a home run steal for a budget knife. I'm not saying it's a budget steal. It's actually a very nice steal. But when you put it on a knife in that $50 to $70 range, you cannot go wrong. And Kubey did a very good decision there by putting that in here. The fuller, for the most part, is just aesthetic. I couldn't middle finger flick this guy for the life of me. Maybe someone else can, but I can't. As for that front flipper, the jimping on it is pretty good. It's not. If I had to make it more aggressive or less aggressive, I would definitely make it a little more aggressive, just because it's so round. But like I said, as you see in here, it still works very well. So not a knock on it. It's definitely sufficient and good enough. Now going into the handle and ergos. The ergos are uniquely good on this, and it's kind of weird. What makes it good is the actual contouring here, the outline where your fingers wrap around. I usually don't like that. I usually like a more neutral handle, or one where there's maybe just, one outline up here for your index finger and the rest of it's just kind of smooth without any other breaks in between. This is kind of made to put all your fingers in the exact spot, and I don't have too big of an issue with it. I can't say I love it, but it fits my hand pretty well. The problem with that is it may not fit everybody else's hand that well. That's worth taking into consideration, but I will say it feels pretty good in my hand. I don't have really any complaints. This thing going on here, I don't know where that came from. Obviously it was someone's idea. I personally would prefer it not be there and just have it be a flat textured G10 like you have on the rest of the handle here, which is a nice little texture. It's not too grippy or not too much, but it is enough to where it does definitely improve the grip of the knife. As for the lanyard hole back here, I like how they did that. It's not just a drilled hole. It is kind of worked into the design. So I think it looks okay. I'm not a big lanyard hole guy, but it looks better than just a random hole. So I guess no real issue there. In terms of the rest of the handle, it's just your typical, it's that solid Kubey feel. No flex in the handle, just a knife that is going to hold up pretty darn well. I kind of wish it didn't have the Kubey logo there. Again, you guys knew that was coming. No surprise to anybody. I think it would look a lot better with a more neutral pivot, especially since you have the Kubey branding right here. It doesn't need to be both places that close to each other. But overall, it's an outline that it works really well. The overall, outline profile of the knife, I'm saying, it feels good. It feels good in hand. It looks pretty good. I actually like it more. My hand's covering up this thing going on here on the handle, but it is still, it's a nice blade. It's a very nice blade. And going into that action is pretty good on this. If you've handled a Pena or the Mach 3 that I showed you, it's not quite that good. But again, you're talking hundreds of dollars in difference of the knife. But what you do have, you just got to push down a little on your thumb. That blade flies out. And it does have a nice, crisp, rather strong detent. I can't do the... You kind of can. So this is the thing. The detent is strong enough to where I wouldn't regularly do the reach around on it. I think it's a little easier because I have a Band-Aid on my finger right now because I cut it when I was playing with the knife a few days ago. Actually yesterday. But so it works a little better with that grip from the Band-Aid. If I didn't have the Band-Aid on, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. So keep that in mind. But regular thumb deployment is a breeze. No issues at all with the detent and deploying the blade with just a regular thumb front flip. It's actually very enjoyable. The detent feels good. It breaks just fine, and the blade flies out. So no issue there. In terms of action, I would definitely give it a solid B+. If there was a little bit grippier jimping on top, I'd probably give it an A. But even as is, totally acceptable and still pretty darn good. And it shakes shut very easily too. For such a light, rather slim, small, light blade overall. When it's not wide, it's not too long, it's not too thick. So that makes for a light blade. And when you break that liner lock and you shake it shuts very easily and pretty smooth. So I do like that a lot as well. Overall, what you have here is a Kubey that I don't think, I don't know, I'm a little torn on this one. Personally, I like the action, I like the front flipper, love the 14C28N, so there's a lot of good attributes about it. It has some quirks, though, that I don't necessarily love, such as the design on the handle and then the KB on the pivot. But again, those are more personal preferences. So if you're okay with those, I think you would really, really enjoy this knife. If you like a front flipper, you like that 14C28N, it's a pretty solid offering from Kubey. A little more expensive than the normal Kubey, but again, I will pay a little extra to avoid having to buy any more D2. So that is just me. But that's that, guys. That is the Kubey KU2101A. I think it's a pretty darn solid offering. Let me know what you think of it. I know you want to see more 14C28N from Kubey. Do you want to see more front flippers like this from Kubey? Let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.